The morning sky over Washington, D.C. turned dark at exactly 9:37. It was not clouds. It was not a storm. It was a ship. A ship so massive that it blocked out the sun across 3 states. People stopped walking. Cars crashed into each other as drivers looked up instead of forward. Children pointed at the sky and asked their parents what was happening. Nobody had an answer. The ship hung there in the sky like a metal mountain. Its surface was dark gray and covered with patterns that seemed to move and shift. Lights blinked along its edges in colors humans had never seen before. The ship made no sound. That silence was somehow worse than any noise could have been. Commander James Reeves stood in the operations room at Naval Special Warfare Command, watching 6 different screens show the same impossible thing. He was a tall man with short dark hair going gray at the temples. His face showed the lines of someone who had seen combat in a dozen countries. His eyes were calm but alert. This was not his first crisis, but it was definitely the strangest. Next to him stood Lieutenant Minho Park. Minho was younger, 32 years old, with sharp features and quick, intelligent eyes. He had been born in Seoul but grew up in California after his parents immigrated when he was 5. He served as both a SEAL operator and intelligence analyst. Right now he was doing what he did best. He was watching and thinking. The screens flickered. Every television, every computer, every phone on Earth showed the same thing at the same moment. A face appeared. It was not a human face. The creature had scales instead of skin, dark green scales that caught the light like polished stone. Its eyes were yellow with vertical slits like a snake. Its mouth had too many teeth, all of them sharp. When it spoke, the words came out in a language no human had ever heard. But somehow everyone understood. The ship was translating the words directly into every language on Earth. "Primitive species of the 3rd planet," the creature said. Its voice was deep and rough like gravel grinding together. "I am War Commander Vorak of the Galactic Confederation. Your world has been selected for integration into our empire. You will submit. You will pay tribute. You will obey." Reeves watched the alien speak. He had heard speeches like this before. Different words, different languages, but the same basic message. He had heard warlords in Afghanistan make similar demands. He had watched cartel bosses in South America say the same kind of things. The exact words changed, but the meaning never did. This was a bully demanding lunch money. Vorak continued his speech. "You will provide resources. Metal, water, organic materials. You will provide labor. 1 million of your species will be selected for service in our workforce. You will provide technology. Everything you have created belongs now to the Confederation. Resistance is pointless. Negotiation is pointless. You have 48 of your Earth hours to begin compliance. Any delay will result in consequences." The screen showed images then. Cities burning, ships falling from orbit and crashing into oceans, weapons firing from space and turning mountains into glass. The images were clear. This was not a bluff. This was what would happen if humanity said no. The transmission ended. The screens went back to normal. But nothing was normal anymore. The room erupted in noise. Officers shouting questions. Phones ringing. People running to different stations trying to get more information. In the chaos, Reeves stayed quiet. He watched the replays. He studied the alien commander's face. He looked at the demonstrations of power. Minho moved closer to Reeves. "What do you think, Commander?" Reeves took a long breath. "I think this Vorak has never been punched in the mouth." "Sir?" "Look at him." Reeves pointed at the frozen image of the alien commander on the screen. "Look at his posture. Look at how he talks. This is someone who expects everyone to fold immediately. He does not expect a fight. He has a ship the size of Manhattan floating over our heads," Minho said. "Maybe he has good reason to expect that." "Maybe," Reeves said. "Or maybe he is so used to people rolling over that he has forgotten how to actually fight." An aide rushed into the room. "Commander Reeves, you are wanted in the Situation Room. The President is assembling a response team." Reeves nodded. He grabbed his jacket and started walking. Minho followed without being asked. They moved through hallways filled with personnel who all looked scared. Reeves understood the fear. But fear without action was just panic, and panic got people killed. The Situation Room was packed. Military leaders, intelligence directors, scientists, and diplomats all crowded around a large table. At the head sat the President, a woman in her 60s who had built a career on careful diplomacy. Right now she looked like she wanted to break something. Commander Reeves, she said when he entered. Your reputation suggests you have experience with difficult situations. I need honest assessment. Can we fight this? Every head in the room turned to look at Reeves. He saw hope in some faces. He saw doubt in others. He saw fear in all of them. Madam President, Reeves said carefully, I need to know something first. Are we looking for ways to negotiate, or are we looking for ways to win? The Secretary of Defense, a former Marine general, spoke up. Commander, we need to be realistic. That ship could glass the entire planet. We have to consider all options, including compliance. With respect, sir, Reeves said, compliance is not an option. It is surrender. They want 1 million people for slave labor. They want all our resources. They want everything. If we give them anything, we give them permission to take more. Bullies always come back for more. So what do you suggest? The president asked. We throw rocks at their spaceship? No, ma'am, Reeves said. He pulled up the footage of the alien commander on the Situation Room screen. We do what humans have always done when facing bigger, stronger opponents. We do not fight the way they expect. We fight dirty. We fight mean. We make them regret ever coming here. The room went silent. The Secretary of State, an older man with white hair, shook his head. This is insane. We are talking about fighting an interstellar empire. We are talking about survival, Reeves said flatly. They gave us 48 hours. I suggest we use that time to figure out how to kill these idiots. The president stared at Reeves for a long moment. Then she looked at the frozen image of Vorak on the screen. She saw the same arrogance Reeves had seen. The same assumption of easy victory. All right, Commander, she said quietly. You have 24 hours to present me with a plan. If it is remotely feasible, we implement it. If not, we explore other options. But I want to know if fighting is possible before we start talking about surrender. Reeves nodded. Yes, ma'am. As he left the Situation Room with Minho following, the younger officer spoke. Do you actually have a plan, Commander? Reeves smiled grimly. Not yet. But I know someone who can help us figure out their weaknesses. We need to get on that ship. Get on it? How? They are coming down tomorrow to begin collecting tribute, Reeves said. They will send landing parties, diplomatic escorts. They think we are harmless. That is their first mistake. Minho understood. We grab one of their people. Get intelligence, better, Reeves said. We go up with them. We see their ship from inside. We find out what they are really working with. Then we figure out how to take it all away from them. They walked through the corridors making plans. Outside, the massive alien ship still hung in the sky. It cast a shadow over half the continent. Inside that shadow, humanity prepared for war. Vorak thought he was conquering a primitive species. He thought this would be easy. He had no idea what humans were capable of when pushed into a corner. He was about to learn a very painful lesson. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when you threatened Earth. The alien shuttle landed in the middle of Central Park at exactly noon the next day. It was smaller than the massive ship above, but still the size of a commercial airliner. The metal was the same dark gray with lights pulsing along its sides. When the ramp lowered, 6 alien soldiers walked out. They wore armor that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. The armor was black with red accents and covered them from head to toe. Each soldier carried a weapon that looked like a rifle, but glowed with blue energy along the barrel. They moved in formation, confident and precise. They expected fear. They expected submission. What they got was Commander Reeves and a diplomatic escort. Reeves wore his dress uniform, all medals and ribbons displayed. He had specifically chosen this uniform to send a message. He was a warrior. He had fought and won many times before. The aliens needed to see that humans understood violence just as well as they did. Next to him stood Minho in a similar dress uniform. Behind them were 4 other SEALs disguised as diplomatic security. Each man was chosen for specific skills: language analysis, technical expertise, combat effectiveness, and the ability to stay calm under pressure. The alien in front stepped forward. His translator device blinked, and then he spoke. The words came out in perfect English. I am Combat Leader Drex. We are here to establish preliminary tribute collection protocols. You will designate a representative to accompany us back to the primary vessel. There we will outline your compliance requirements. Reeves saluted sharply. Military courtesy. It confused the aliens for a moment. They had not expected formal military protocol from what they considered primitives. Combat Leader Drex, Reeves said clearly. I am Commander James Reeves of the United States Naval Special Warfare Command. I am authorized to serve as the human representative for this preliminary discussion. I am prepared to accompany you immediately. Drex studied Reeves for a moment. The alien's yellow eyes narrowed. You are a warrior class? Yes, Reeves said simply. Something shifted in Drex's posture. Respect, perhaps. Or at least recognition. Warriors understood other warriors, even across species. You may bring 2 escorts, no more. Any weapons will be confiscated upon boarding. Understood. Reeves gestured to Minho and another SEAL named Sergeant Junho Kim. Junho was 34, built like a tank, and had a gift for understanding how things worked mechanically. If anyone could figure out alien technology quickly, it was him. The walk up the ramp felt like entering another world. Inside the shuttle, everything was clean and efficient. The walls glowed with soft light. Screens displayed information in alien script. The air smelled strange, like ozone and something metallic. They were directed to seats that adjusted automatically to human size. The aliens sat across from them, weapons held ready but not aimed. The shuttle lifted off without any sensation of movement. Through a window, Reeves watched Central Park shrink below them. Minho was already working. He had a small device hidden in his uniform sleeve, no bigger than a coin. It was recording everything. Every sound, every visual, every electromagnetic signal. Intelligence gathering started immediately. Junho was watching how the aliens moved, how they held their weapons, how their armor flexed and shifted. He was memorizing details, weak points, joint connections, anything that might be useful later. The flight to the main ship took 7 minutes. When they docked, the airlock opened into a corridor that stretched in both directions further than they could see. The ceiling was high, at least 20 feet. Everything was built on a larger scale than human architecture. Drex led them through the ship. They passed other aliens, different species. Some had scales like Vorak. Others had fur or smooth skin in colors ranging from blue to purple. Some walked on 2 legs, others on 4 or 6. This was not just one species. This was an empire of many conquered worlds. They passed through what looked like barracks. Alien soldiers lounged on bunks or gathered around tables. The room fell silent when the humans walked by. Hundreds of eyes watched them. Some showed curiosity. Others showed contempt. None showed fear. Not yet, Reeves thought. They entered a large chamber that appeared to be a command center. Screens covered the walls showing Earth from orbit, troop positions, resource calculations. In the center stood War Commander Vorak himself. Up close, the alien commander was even more imposing. He stood nearly 7 feet tall. His scales caught the light and seemed to shift colors. His yellow eyes fixed on Reeves with the confidence of someone who had never lost a battle. The human warrior, Vorak said. His voice rumbled through the room. You are here to discuss your planet's submission terms. I am here to understand your requirements, Reeves replied carefully. He kept his voice neutral and professional. My government wishes to avoid unnecessary conflict. Vorak seemed pleased by this. Wise, you understand your position. Many species require demonstration before they accept reality. I am pleased humans are more intelligent than they appear. Reeves said nothing. Let the alien think what he wanted. The more they underestimated humans, the better. Vorak gestured to a screen. It displayed Earth's resource deposits, mining locations, oil reserves, freshwater sources. These materials will be extracted and transported. Your industrial capacity will be converted to serve Confederation needs. The labor force will be selected from your healthiest population. 1 million people, Reeves said. Initially, Vorak corrected, as your planet proves compliant, additional workers will be required. It is standard procedure. All Confederation worlds contribute according to their capacity. Minho spoke up for the first time. How many worlds are part of the Confederation? Vorak turned his attention to the younger officer. 463 worlds have been integrated. Hundreds of species now serve the greater good of the Empire. You will be the 464th. And if we refuse? Reeves asked quietly. The room went silent. Every alien present turned to look at him. Vorak's expression shifted from pleased to something darker. Refusal is not possible, Vorak said slowly. Surely you understand this. We have shown you our capability. Your weapons are primitive. Your ships barely leave your atmosphere. You cannot resist. That was not my question, Reeves said, meeting the alien's eyes directly. I asked what happens if we refuse. not whether we can resist. What do you do? Vorak studied him for a long moment. Then we take what we need by force. We have done this before. It is always regrettable. Resistance costs lives, resources, and time. But the outcome is always the same. We win, you submit. The only variable is how many of your people die first. Reeves nodded slowly as if considering this. In reality, he was learning. The aliens had conquered hundreds of worlds. But how many had actually fought back? The way Vorak spoke suggested resistance was rare. Most species saw the massive ship and surrendered immediately. Humans were about to break that pattern. I need to inspect more of your ship, Reeves said. If I am to convince my government to comply, I must be able to report on your full capabilities. They will ask questions. I need answers. Vorak considered this. You wish to see our military strength? To understand that resistance is futile? Exactly. Reeves lied smoothly. Very well. Vorak gestured to Drex. Show them the weapons deck. Show them the fighter bays. Let them understand what they face. Perhaps seeing our power directly will speed your world's acceptance. As Drex led them away, Junho leaned close to Reeves and whispered in Korean, a language they hoped the translators had not yet learned. Are you really looking for ways to surrender? No, Reeves whispered back in the same language. I am looking for ways to kill them all. They spent the next 2 hours touring the warship. They saw weapons that could vaporize cities, shields that could deflect nuclear missiles, fighter craft that could move faster than anything humans had built. The technology was decades, maybe centuries ahead of Earth's capabilities. But Reeves was not discouraged. He was learning, and what he learned was important. The aliens were strong but predictable. Their tactics were straightforward. Overwhelming force applied directly. They had never needed to be clever because they had never faced real resistance. Their security was minimal because they could not imagine anyone attacking them on their own ship. The soldiers they passed looked bored, combat-ready but not expecting combat. This was routine for them. Just another primitive planet falling into line. When they returned to the command center, Vorak asked, You have seen enough? Yes, Reeves said. I will report to my government. We will need time to organize the tribute collection. You have 40 hours remaining, Vorak said. Do not waste them. The return trip to Earth was quiet. Once they were back on the shuttle and away from the main ship, Minho checked his recording device. It had captured everything. Thousands of images. Audio recordings, electromagnetic signatures. We got it all, Minho said quietly. Junho was sketching from memory on a tablet. Armor designs, weapon configurations, structural details. Their gear is advanced, but it has limits. The armor has joints. The weapons have cooldown periods. The shields have specific frequency ranges. Reeves stared out the window at the massive ship above. It still looked invincible. But now he knew better. It was just a ship. Built by people, or aliens in this case, and anything built could be broken. We can fight this, he said quietly. We can win. The briefing room at Naval Special Warfare Command was packed with people who normally never worked together. Navy SEALs sat next to Air Force pilots. Marine Raiders stood beside Army Rangers. CIA analysts shared tables with NSA technicians. And in the center of it all stood Commander Reeves with a projection of the alien warship rotating slowly above the table. This is what we are dealing with, Reeves said, pointing to the massive ship. It is big. It is powerful. And it is going to be ours in 72 hours. The room erupted in surprised voices. Someone in the back laughed, thinking it was a joke. But Reeves's expression never changed. He was completely serious. Dr. Jisoo Han stood up from her seat near the front. She was a linguistics expert from MIT, 38 years old with sharp eyes and black hair pulled back in a tight bun. She had been brought in 6 hours earlier to analyze the alien language patterns. Commander, I have been studying their communication systems. May I? Reeves nodded and stepped aside. Jisoo moved to the front and pulled up a different screen. It showed lines of alien text with translations below. The Confederation uses a standardized language across all member species, she explained. It is efficient but rigid. After analyzing Lieutenant Park's recordings, I have found something interesting. Their military communications are not encrypted. What? Someone asked from the crowd. They do not encrypt their battlefield communications, Jisoo repeated. They have never needed to. No one has ever intercepted their signals before. No conquered species has ever fought back long enough to make encryption necessary. Minho stood up next. He pulled up technical readouts on the screens. Their security is the same way. Minimal. We walked through their ship with recording devices and nobody searched us thoroughly. They checked for weapons, but nothing else. They do not think in terms of espionage because they have never faced it. Junho added his findings next. The big sergeant pulled up detailed sketches of alien armor and weapons. Their gear is advanced but specialized. The armor is designed to stop energy weapons, plasma lasers, particle beams. But we tested some captured material. Standard rifle rounds go right through. They have never armored against kinetic weapons because nobody uses them anymore. The room went silent as people processed this information. The aliens had technology centuries ahead of humanity, but that technology was designed to fight other advanced species. Nobody had fought them with bullets and explosives in generations. They are used to fighting a certain way, Reeves continued. Ship-to-ship combat. Energy shields. Long-range weapons. What they are not used to is us. Close-quarters combat. Improvised weapons. Guerrilla tactics. Everything we have learned fighting on Earth for the past century. A Marine colonel named Sarah Chen spoke up. What is the plan, Commander? Reeves smiled grimly. We make them think we are cooperating. They are sending landing parties tomorrow to begin tribute collection. Multiple locations across the globe. When they land, we hit them. Hard, fast, we take prisoners. We take their equipment. We learn everything we can. Then we use that knowledge to take their ship. Sir, they will retaliate, an Air Force general said. They threaten to destroy cities. They threatened, Reeves agreed. But I do not think they will. Vorak wants this planet intact. He wants our resources and our people. Dead humans and destroyed infrastructure are worthless to him. He will try to intimidate us first. That gives us time to strike. Jisoo stepped forward again. I have been analyzing their cultural patterns based on the interactions Commander Reeves recorded. The Confederation operates on a strict hierarchy. Everything follows protocol and procedure. They have rules for engagement, rules for conquest, rules for everything. This makes them predictable. How predictable? Someone asked. Very, Jisoo said. They will send landing parties to major cities at exactly the times they specified. They will follow the same formation patterns they have used for centuries. They will expect formal meetings with government officials. They are following a script that has worked 463 times before. Then we burn the script, Reeves said firmly. No formal meetings. No negotiations. When they land, we treat them like hostile combatants on our soil, which is exactly what they are. The next 20 hours were a blur of preparation. Across the United States and allied nations, military units moved into position. Special Forces teams established sniper positions overlooking the designated landing zones. Engineers rigged explosives and traps. Intelligence gathered every piece of information about alien physiology, technology, and tactics. Reeves worked with each team personally. He had run operations in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and a dozen other places most people had never heard of. This was bigger, stranger, but the fundamentals were the same. Know your enemy, know your terrain, strike fast and disappear. In Los Angeles, a SEAL team led by Lieutenant Taehyun Song set up in the buildings around Dodger Stadium, where an alien shuttle was expected to land. Taehyun was 29, fast, and had a talent for making split-second decisions. His team carried standard weapons but also experimental gear designed overnight by engineers working from Junho's notes. In New York, Marine raiders under Captain David Rodriguez positioned themselves around the landing zone at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. They had support from Air National Guard units flying modified aircraft. In London, British SAS worked with local forces. In Tokyo, Japanese self-defense forces coordinated with American advisors. In Seoul, Korean special forces prepared their own ambush. The aliens were landing in 12 cities simultaneously. Every single landing zone had a reception committee waiting. Reeves positioned himself with the Washington, D.C. team. They would hit the landing at the National Mall. Minho and Junho were with him along with 20 other operators. This was personal. This was their capital, their city. The alien deadline passed at midnight. Vorak had given humanity 48 hours to begin compliance. At hour 47, Earth government sent a message. They requested more time to organize the tribute collection. Just 24 more hours. Vorak, confident in his position, agreed. It was a small delay. It changed nothing in his mind. The primitives were scrambling to obey. Everything was proceeding as expected. He had no idea he had just given humanity exactly what it needed. Time to get everyone in position. The next morning dawned clear and cold in Washington, D.C. Reeves stood on a rooftop 3 blocks from the National Mall with a clear view of the landing zone. He wore full combat gear, black tactical uniform, armor plates, helmet with communications gear. His rifle was an M4 carbine that had served him through 3 deployments. Nothing fancy, just reliable. Minho crouched beside him with a sniper rifle. Yunho was 1 floor down with the demolitions team. Around them, spread across multiple buildings and positions, 20 more operators waited. Every single one was a volunteer. Every single one knew this might be a one-way trip. At exactly 9 o'clock, the alien shuttles began to descend. 12 ships in 12 cities, all landing at the same moment. Perfect coordination, perfect timing, perfect predictability. The shuttle in Washington, D.C. settled onto the grass of the National Mall between the Washington Monument and the Capitol building. Its ramp lowered. 6 alien soldiers marched out in formation, weapons held at ready. Behind them came what looked like a diplomatic envoy, 3 aliens in robes instead of armor. They expected human officials to be waiting. Diplomats ready to negotiate the finer points of Earth's surrender. Instead, they got silence. The mall was empty, not a single person visible. The alien commander, a different one than Drex but similar in appearance, spoke into a communication device. The translator broadcast in English. "Human officials, present yourselves. We are here to begin the tribute collection as agreed." Still nothing, just wind blowing across empty grass. The commander seemed annoyed. "This is a violation of protocol. Present yourselves immediately or face consequences." That was when Reeves gave the signal. A single click on the radio that every team across the city could hear. The first shot came from Minho. 1 alien soldier dropped, a round through the gap in his armor at the neck joint. Before the others could react, gunfire erupted from 6 different positions. Carefully aimed shots at specific weak points Junho had identified. Joints, seals, unarmored sections. 2 more aliens went down in the first 3 seconds. The others raised their energy weapons and returned fire. But they were shooting at muzzle flashes in positions already being abandoned. Human doctrine was shoot and move. Never stay in one place. Junho triggered the first explosive. It was planted in the ground near the shuttle, disguised as a maintenance access panel. The blast was shaped to direct force upward into the shuttle's landing gear. 1 whole side collapsed and the ship listed heavily to port. The remaining aliens tried to retreat back into the damaged shuttle. That was when the ground teams moved in. Operators appeared from tunnels in the subway system, from behind monuments, from positions the aliens had not known existed. Close quarters combat, the kind humans excelled at. It was over in 90 seconds. 9 aliens down, 3 captured alive, 1 shuttle disabled, and across the globe in 11 other cities similar scenes were playing out. Ambush, violence, victory. The aliens had expected submission. They got war. On board the massive ship above, War Commander Vorak watched the reports come in with growing disbelief. Every single landing party was under attack. Every single one was taking casualties. These primitives were fighting back with a ferocity and coordination that should not have been possible. He slammed his fist on the command console. "Send reinforcements to all locations. Show these creatures what happens when they resist the Confederation." But even as he gave the orders, a small doubt crept into his mind. 463 worlds had submitted to his forces. Not one had ever drawn blood on the first day. Humans had just broken that record, and they were only getting started. War Commander Vorak stared at the tactical display with rising fury. Red markers showed where his landing parties had been destroyed or captured. 12 locations, 12 failures. In all his years of conquest, he had never seen anything like this. How many casualties? He demanded. His second in command, a tall alien with blue skin named Krell, checked the reports. 73 soldiers dead, 21 wounded, 18 captured, 4 shuttles destroyed, 5 damaged. In one attack? Vorak's voice was dangerously quiet. These primitives did this in one coordinated attack? Yes, War Commander. They were waiting for us. They knew exactly where we would land and when. Vorak's claws scraped against the metal console. Send down the shock troops. Full battle armor. Heavy weapons. I want those cities turned to examples. Show these humans what real power looks like. Krell hesitated. War Commander, if we destroy the cities, we lose the resources we came for. The humans, the infrastructure, all of it becomes worthless. Then we destroy one city, Vorak said coldly. One example to show the others what happens when they resist. Choose the smallest target, somewhere that matters to them but costs us the least. Within the hour, 3 heavy assault shuttles launched from the main ship. Each carried 40 shock troopers, the elite forces of the Confederation. These were not the standard soldiers from the first wave. These were veterans of real combat, equipped with the best armor and weapons the Empire could provide. Their target was Portland, Oregon, a city of 500,000 people. Big enough to send a message, but small enough that losing it would not cripple Earth's overall value. The humans detected the launch immediately. Radar stations tracked the shuttles as they descended. Air defense systems locked on, but everyone knew missiles would be useless against alien shields. They needed something else. Major Hyun Lee sat in the cockpit of his F-22 Raptor fighter jet at an airbase outside Portland. He was 36 years old, born in Busan, and moved to America when he was 12. He had logged over 2,000 flight hours and had a reputation for being able to fly anything with wings. Today he was flying something new. His F-22 had been modified overnight, based on data from Junho's analysis of alien shield frequencies. Under each wing hung experimental missiles with warheads that pulsed at specific electromagnetic wavelengths. In theory, they would pass right through the alien shields. In theory, Dragon Leader to all wings, Hyun said calmly over the radio. We are go for intercept. Remember, stay tight and follow my lead. These weapons are untested. We get one chance. 5 other fighters formed up behind him. Modified F-22s, F-35s, and even 2 older F-15s that had been hastily upgraded. It was not a large force, but it was what they had. The alien shuttles came in fast, descending through the atmosphere like falling meteors. Their shields glowed with the friction of re-entry. They were heading straight for downtown Portland. Locks acquired, Hyun said, checking his displays. Weapons hot. Fire on my mark. 3, 2, 1 mark. 6 missiles launched simultaneously. They streaked through the air, trailing white contrails. The aliens detected them immediately, and their shields flared brighter, preparing to deflect the incoming weapons. The missiles hit, and instead of exploding harmlessly against the shields, they punched through. The first shuttle took 2 direct hits. Explosions ripped through its hull. The ship lurched sideways, trailing smoke and fire. It crashed into the Columbia River with a massive splash instead of reaching the city. The second shuttle took 1 hit that destroyed its starboard engine. The pilot tried to compensate, but the ship was too damaged. It went down in forest land south of the city, carving a long trench through trees before finally stopping. The third shuttle's pilot was better. He saw what happened to the others and immediately began evasive maneuvers. But F-22s were not easy to shake. Hyun stayed on target, his fighter dancing through the air with practiced precision. Dragon 2, break left and flank, Hyun ordered. Dragon 3, come in high. We box him in. The alien pilot was skilled, but he was alone and facing 3 fighters who trained together constantly. They knew each other's moves instinctively. When Hyun broke right, Dragon 2 was already in position. When the shuttle dodged up, Dragon 3 was waiting. The final missile hit the shuttle's rear thruster array. The ship did not explode, but it lost all power. It became a glider, a very heavy glider falling toward the city below. The alien pilot managed to guide it away from downtown and crashed it into an empty warehouse district. The impact was spectacular, but the death toll was minimal. Splash 3, Hyun reported. All alien shuttles down. No friendly casualties. At his command post outside Washington, D.C., Reeves listened to the report and allowed himself a small smile. The aliens had sent their best, and humanity had knocked them out of the sky. It was a victory. A real, undeniable victory. But he knew Vorak would not stop. The alien commander had been embarrassed twice now. He would escalate. On the alien flagship, Vorak was beyond fury. He had moved into something colder and more dangerous. Calculation, Krell, he said quietly. Recall all ground forces. No more landings, sir. These humans are more capable than anticipated. They have studied our tactics and developed counters. They knew our landing zones. They knew our shield frequencies. Someone has been feeding them intelligence. Vorak turned to stare at his second-in-command, the human warrior who came aboard. Reeves. He saw our ship. He asked questions. He was gathering information. Krell's eyes widened. We gave him a tour. We showed him our capabilities, thinking it would frighten him into submission. Instead, we gave him a blueprint to kill us. Vorak said bitterly. My arrogance. I have conquered so many worlds that submit immediately, that I forgot what real war looks like. These humans have reminded me. What are your orders, War Commander? Vorak studied the tactical display showing Earth below. We change tactics. No more ground assaults where they have the advantage. We take a different approach. We cut off their communications. We blind their satellites. We isolate their forces so they cannot coordinate. Then we strike at military targets only. Their bases. Their airfields. Their command centers. We decapitate their ability to resist. That will take time, Krell noted. Then we take time, Vorak said. I would rather spend weeks and succeed than rush and fail. These humans have earned my respect. That makes them dangerous. Over the next 72 hours, the war changed shape. Alien fighters launched from the main ship and systematically destroyed every satellite in Earth's orbit. Communications went dark. GPS stopped working. Weather monitoring ceased. The internet became fragmented as different regions lost connection to each other. Then the strikes began. Precision attacks on military installations. A missile base in Wyoming was vaporized by an orbital strike. An Air Force base in Alaska took direct hits that left nothing but craters. Naval ports in Virginia and California were targeted, but Reeves had anticipated this. He had spent 3 days moving assets and spreading them out. When the aliens hit what they thought was a command center, they found an empty building. When they destroyed what looked like a fighter squadron, they got decoys and drones. The real forces were hiding. Underground bunkers, civilian buildings, national forests. Anywhere the aliens would not think to look. Humanity was fighting like guerrillas now, scattered and hidden but still coordinated through old-fashioned radio systems that did not depend on satellites. In a bunker beneath the Appalachian Mountains, Reeves met with his senior team. Minho, Junyo, Jisoo, Hyun, and a dozen others. They looked tired but determined. Vorak is getting smarter, Reeves said. He stopped coming down to ground level where we have the advantage. Now he is fighting from orbit where we cannot easily reach him. Can we reach him at all? Taehyun asked. The young SEAL had returned from Los Angeles with his team intact. Our rockets cannot get through those shields and our aircraft cannot reach orbital altitude. We do not need to reach him with rockets or aircraft, Reeves said. He pulled up a schematic of the alien flagship. We need to reach him with people. We board that ship. We take it from the inside. How? Junyo asked. The shuttles only come down for attacks now and they stay at high altitude. We cannot exactly hitch a ride. Jisoo had been quiet during most of the meeting. Now she spoke up. We use their own tactics against them. We fake a surrender. Everyone turned to look at her. She continued, Vorak wants this planet. He wants our resources and our people intact. He has been trying to intimidate us into submission. What if we give him what he wants, or make him think we are giving him what he wants? Reeves understood immediately. We offer to negotiate. Face to face. On his ship. He will agree because he thinks we are finally broken. And once we are on board, Minho added, we do not negotiate. We fight. It would have to be a large team, Junho said thoughtfully. Maybe 40 operators. Enough to take and hold key areas of the ship. It is suicide, someone said. No, Reeves replied. It is war. And we are going to win. Hyun leaned forward. If you go up there, you will need a way back down. I can position fighters to intercept any shuttle you capture. Provide cover for your descent. We will need technical support, Minho said. Someone who can interface with their systems, shut down defenses, maybe even turn their own weapons against them. The message was sent from a hidden radio station in Colorado. It was broadcast on all frequencies the aliens had used before, short, simple, and designed to appeal to Vorak's sense of victory. War Commander Vorak, this is Commander James Reeves of Earth's military forces. Our governments wish to negotiate terms of surrender. We request a meeting on your flagship to discuss the transition of authority. I will bring 40 representatives from different nations. No weapons. We are prepared to accept Confederation rule. In the command center of the alien flagship, Vorak listened to the message 3 times. His tactical officers stood around him waiting for orders. Krell, his second in command, looked skeptical. It could be a trap, War Commander, Krell said carefully. Of course it is a trap, Vorak replied. But he was smiling, showing rows of sharp teeth. This human Reeves is clever. He defeated 2 of my landing forces. He shot down my shock troops. He thinks he can board my ship and somehow win. It is bold, perhaps even admirable, but it is also foolish. Then we refuse? No, Vorak said. We let them come. We let them try whatever desperate plan they have conceived. And when they fail, when they see the futility of resistance from inside our ship, then we will have true victory, not just conquest but the breaking of their spirit. Krell still looked uncertain. War Commander, these humans have surprised us before. With tricks and tactics suited for ground combat, Vorak said dismissively. Here on my ship, surrounded by 4,000 soldiers and crew, what can 40 humans possibly do? Even if they somehow brought weapons past our security, they would be outnumbered 100 to 1. No, Krell, let them come. Let them see the truth. And then let them surrender properly. The shuttle launched from a hidden location in Nevada 24 hours later. It was actually a captured alien shuttle from one of the early battles, repaired and refitted by human engineers. Inside sat 40 men and women in plain clothes, unarmed as promised. Except that was a lie. Reeves sat in the front row reviewing the plan one more time in his mind. Every person on this shuttle had a weapon. Small, compact, designed to avoid the alien scanners. 3D printed gun parts that read as plastic or organic material. Ceramic knives. Chemical compounds that separately were harmless but together became explosives. Even the zippers on their jackets were actually small cutting tools. Minho sat beside him, appearing calm, but Reeves could see the tension in his jaw. This was the biggest gamble of their lives. Behind them sat Junho, Taehyun, and 36 other operators from every branch of military service. Each one had trained in close quarters combat. Each one knew the ship's layout from the recordings of Reeves's first visit. Each one was ready to die. The shuttle docked with the flagship without incident. The airlock opened into a docking bay where 100 alien soldiers waited in formation. This was much more security than before. Vorak was cautious but not cautious enough. Combat leader Drex, the same alien who had escorted them on their first visit, stood at the front. You will all submit to security scanning before proceeding to the command center. Of course, Reeves said politely. He stepped forward first. The scanner was a device that looked like a doorway with lights. Reeves walked through. It beeped and displayed symbols on a screen. The alien operating it looked at the readout and nodded. Nothing dangerous detected. The scanner was looking for energy signatures and metal. It found neither. One by one, all 40 humans passed through. One by one, they were cleared. The aliens had no idea they had just allowed an entire assault team onto their ship. Drex led them through the corridors. Different route than before. More guards stationed at regular intervals. Vorak was not being careless, but he was being predictable. He was following standard security protocol, which meant Jisoo had been able to map out exactly where guards would be and how they would react. They entered the command center. It was the same vast room with screens covering the walls. War Commander Vorak stood in the center, imposing and confident. Around him were at least 50 more soldiers. The humans were completely surrounded. Commander Reeves, Vorak said, you have made the wise choice. Your planet will be spared further destruction. Tell me, how do your leaders wish to structure the transition of power? Reeves looked around the room slowly. He made eye contact with Minho, then Junho, then each member of his team. Small nods passed between them. Everyone was in position. War Commander Vorak, Reeves said calmly. There is not going to be a transition of power. There is going to be a change in ownership. This ship now belongs to Earth. For a moment, silence. Then Vorak laughed. It was a harsh, grinding sound. You stand in my command center, surrounded by my soldiers with no weapons. And you claim to be taking my ship? What madness is this? Not madness, Reeves said. Just war. The humankind. He moved so fast that even the aliens were caught off guard. His hand went to his jacket collar and pulled. The zipper came free and in one smooth motion became a blade. He lunged forward and drove it into the throat of the nearest guard before anyone could react. That was the signal. All 40 humans moved at once. Jackets were torn open, revealing hidden weapons. The plastic gun parts were assembled in seconds. Chemical pouches were crushed together, creating explosive compounds. Ceramic knives appeared in trained hands. The command center erupted into chaos. Aliens reached for their weapons, but the humans were already among them. Close quarters combat, the kind that humans had perfected over centuries of warfare. Every move was efficient and brutal. Junho went straight for the control consoles. Two aliens tried to stop him, but Taehyun intercepted them both with strikes to vulnerable points in their armor. Hunyo reached the main terminal and pulled out a small device from his boot. It was a computer interface designed from the recordings they had taken. He plugged it in and started typing. Minho and 5 others established a defensive position at the main entrance. When alien reinforcements tried to enter, they were met with concentrated gunfire. The small plastic weapons were not powerful, but at close range they were lethal. Bodies began piling up in the doorway, creating a barrier. Reeves fought his way toward Vorak. The war commander had drawn his own weapon, a blade that crackled with energy. They met in the center of the room. Vorak was larger and stronger, but Reeves was faster and more experienced. The alien swung his energy blade in wide arcs designed for reach. Reeves stayed inside his guard, too close for the big weapon to be effective. "You cannot win," Vorak snarled. "Even if you kill everyone in this room, there are thousands more on this ship." "We do not need to kill everyone," Reeves said, dodging another strike. "We just need to kill you and take the bridge." "Unyo, how are we looking?" From the control station, Junho shouted back. "I am in their system. Give me 2 minutes." "You do not have 2 minutes." Vorak roared. He activated his communication device. "All units converge on command center. Intruders have breached primary operations." But when he expected acknowledgement, he got silence. He tried again. Nothing. Junho grinned from his position at the controls. "Your communications are down, Commander. I shut them off. Your soldiers do not know there is a problem yet, and in about 30 seconds, they are going to have bigger problems." His fingers flew across the alien controls. He had studied these systems for days. He knew what each symbol meant. He knew how their network was structured. And most importantly, he knew how to turn it against them. "Sealing bulkheads in sections 3 through 12, Junho announced. "That is your barracks, your armory, and your fighter bay. Everyone there is trapped. Also, I am venting atmosphere in corridors 7 and 8. That was not part of the plan, but these aliens were coming too fast." Vorak's eyes widened with rage and disbelief. "Impossible. You cannot have learned our systems in such a short time." "You keep saying things are impossible," Reeves said, "and we keep proving you wrong." He moved in fast while Vorak was distracted. The ceramic blade in his hand was small but sharp. He drove it into the gap in Vorak's armor at the shoulder joint. The alien commander roared in pain and swung wildly. His energy blade caught Reeves across the side, burning through his shirt and leaving a searing cut. But Reeves had fought through worse. He ignored the pain and pressed his attack. 2 more strikes, both to unarmored areas. Vorak stumbled backward, injured and bleeding. His blood was dark purple and it stained the deck plates. "You are beaten," Reeves said. "Order your forces to stand down." "Never," Vorak gasped. "I am war commander of the Confederation. I do not surrender to primitives." "Then you die like a fool instead of living like a warrior," Reeves said coldly. He raised his blade for the final strike, but Krell, the second in command, stepped forward. "Wait, please, I will order the stand down. Enough of our people have died today." Vorak turned to his second in command with fury. "Traitor! You would surrender my ship? I would save the crew," Krell said. "You were wrong, War Commander. These humans are not primitives. They are warriors equal to us, better than us in some ways. The Confederation has grown soft on easy conquests. These humans have reminded us what real war costs." He moved to a communication panel that Junho had not yet disabled. "All Confederation forces, this is Second Commander Krell. Cease all hostile actions. The flag is fallen. Command authority is transferred.